I don't know who needs to hear this today, but you are being placed in rooms on purpose. Spirit is guiding you to locations, to people, so that you can demonstrate something. There is purpose in all of it. There's connection in all of it. There's patterns in all of it. And we say this all the time, right? But the people that you cross, sometimes they're karmic relationships. But there's a reason why you're supposed to be there for that interaction, for that person. You are a catalyst. You're a trigger. And sometimes I'm getting that imagery of like, sometimes you have to take two dogs that don't like each other and you have to give them a bath together in order to like, in order to give them this like shared camaraderie, this pack mentality. They have to go through some trauma together in order to accept each other and stop squabbling. And that's what I'm getting here. You may be in a situation where you have to prove that you care about more than petty squabbles. Where you have to be responsible or be the bigger person or be willing to let something go. When that might not be in your nature. You might be a grudge holder. But I'm getting that this is something that you've worked really hard to let go of. Grudge holding in general. You don't hold on to that negative energy. You don't keep that energy in your presence, in your body, in your energetic sphere, your toroid. There's a massive energetic purge coming as a result of this. And you might find your relationships with people evolving. Especially people that have served a karmic role in the past. Or even recently, it could be anything. Oh. You're being guided to rest. There's an intensity that's going to be coming up for you. It's going to require a lot of energy. In order to achieve what you're set out to achieve, you need to be able to take the amount of rest that you need. Learning these lessons can be exhausting. Demonstrating what you've learned can be exhausting. And it's almost coming out right now that literally as soon as we bring up something to work on, as soon as we bring up a lesson, we have to put it in practice immediately. A situation will show itself in your life, in your day-to-day, where you have to demonstrate that lesson. And that is a test of your self-awareness, because lots of people can say these nice little messages, but when it's actually happening in front of them, do they still follow that? Do they follow their own advice? That's a test all of its own. Just in the last 24 hours, I was in a position, again, where I thought to myself, like, should I say something? Should I ask them if they need help? And I chose to do it because that's the message from Spirit. That's the advice. I also got to use that not medical training, that CPR and safety training that I just learned the other day. not compressions, but like I got to use a lot of that knowledge today in an actual emergency that required me to push aside feelings about other situations and focus entirely on the objective situation and the person right in front of me. And I don't find it difficult to see the person and not the problem in those moments. But I did think about it. I also had to look at my limits and go, what's best for me right now? When I started trying to work out after I got off, I had to look at my fatigue level, my amount of sleep, the amount of food I ate, consumed, whatever. And I had to go, I'm not good right now. I'm exhausted, unfueled, unrested. And I had to go home and I had to sleep instead of finishing my run, instead of doing yoga like I'm supposed to be doing on Mondays. We're getting these moments where we have to make the right decisions based on what we've learned. And what it's really giving is that moment. Like I'm literally seeing my NASM test right now in my head. And some of those questions, I don't even have to finish the question because instinctually I know the right answer. And I don't have to double check it. I don't have to Google it to make sure that I'm right. There's some things where I'm just like, click, instantly. And I'm right. And that, I think, is when you know your reactions are coming from the most genuine place. When you don't have to think, am I doing the right thing? You know that you are. When you don't have to think to yourself, I need to bury this grudge or this resentment or this feeling about this other situation because you weren't holding on to that in the first place. When you think to yourself, I need to release something, and then you realize that you were never holding on to it, that's growth. That is growth. Realizing that you weren't participating in the problem. You're observing behaviors, but you weren't participating in holding on to any kind of negative energy or any kind of conflict. And when somebody in front of you obviously needs a hand, and no one is there or no one is paying attention, you step up. That's happened multiple times in 24, 48 hours. And sometimes it's innocuous. Sometimes maybe if they tried harder in that moment, they could just figure it out. Maybe they're totally self-sufficient and they can figure it out and they don't need you. But the important part is that you ask. The important part is that you make yourself available to help in those situations because it takes nothing from you. It just helps. You have this gift of observation, this gift of pattern recognition, this gift of empathy where you can sense when someone's in distress or they're concerned or they're being careful or they're putting on a brave face and it's actually a more serious issue. And so many people, I think, just try to mind their business and let people struggle through. You're being guided to step outside of that, to step into your purpose, which is using those gifts